Queen Wytisha, can I change your mind? So we're still on the journey of going through the process of Queen Wytisha's journey, how it all began. So I'm taking you all back to the beginning, where I was a child that felt hopeless, that felt depressed, that felt like there was no future ahead of me. This is another location when I was a kid. Right behind me, you see this was my great-grandmother's house in 212, where they call it being across the tracks. So you know what they say about people across the tracks. People across the tracks will never be anything. People across the tracks will never have anything. People across the tracks have no hope. There is no future. So I'm just giving you all insight on how it began with me, because there is a child out there right now that lives across the tracks, and they're being told that because you're across the tracks, you won't be anything. You will never become anything. That you was born into poverty, you was born into nothing, and you will always be nothing. But I am that representation to give you hope, to give you encouragement, and to give you motivation, and to let you know that just because you were born across the tracks or you live across the track, it does not mean that you have to stay there. So get a view of my great-grandmother's house. During the summertime, a lot of my cousins, we all stayed in this one house with my great-grandmother. My mom, my dad, my other aunts and uncles was gone off, so all of the cousins played at this house. This time, during these times, during the summertime, they were kind of fun because we were forced to get out of the houses and play with one another. We played hopscotch right here on this road. We played football. This is where I got a lot of my scars when I was a kid. We lift weights right here. My cousin used to have a weight bench back here, and he used to make us lift weights. You know, it was a lot of trying times that we had. A lot of good times, but there was a lot of trying times and a lot of bad memories that I remember. I remember being bullied by some of my older cousins. I remember at a time where during the summertime, we didn't really have a lot of food. So my aunt, she would scrape up rice and eggs. I know if you're from the hood, if you're from poverty, you know what that's a poor man's food. Eggs and rice, because some of that stuff you can get on with. So during the summertime when we didn't have food, my aunt, she would cook, she would put a bunch of eggs together, and she would scramble the eggs, and she would put rice together, and that's what we would eat during the summertime. Or we would get another poor man's food, and we would get wieners and hot dogs. That's part of the reason why I don't like hot dogs to this day. I don't eat pork because that just reminds me of poverty. But that's me. That doesn't mean that when you grow up to be the great person that you're called to be, that you have to stop eating hot dogs. But guess what? I ate enough when I was a child to the point I don't like them anymore. So we're making our way back up here across the track. I'm still leading you guys on a journey of 212. We're still in the mind of Queen Wytisha, the Mind Queen. So I want to show you all something. Here is where they say people across the tracks will never be anything. But let me tell you something. When you work hard enough and you have big dreams, you can become anything when you put forth that action. Remember, your first superpower is your mind. So as a child, it's not a lot that you can do. You know, all you can do is you can have those dreams. You can put forth those goals. But what I'm telling you is, while you're a child and while you're manifesting your first superpower, which is your mind, start getting your goals together. Start dreaming big. Because eventually, the power is going to be in your hand. And you're going to be able to manifest a great future by putting forth the actions. You have to remember that a dream without putting forth the actions is nothing. You have to be able to put forth the action. So we got a vehicle getting ready to come across. Let me get out the way. So we're still running the video. But I just want to let you all know, you see how simple it is? So many people make it so difficult, and they say, because I'm confined to a certain environment or a certain area, that this is where my life ends. But let me show you how easy it was. I was born on these sides of the track, still leading me in 212. What I did, I used my first superpower, which is my mind. I put forth the work. I put forth the actions. I didn't believe what people told me I was going to be. I didn't believe that I belonged on these sides of the track. So once I put forth the action and I implemented my first superpower, I elevated and I walked across the tracks. So I'm here to tell you, just because you were born into an environment, you're born across the tracks, doesn't mean that you don't have hope. I am a living testimony that you have hope, because I am the living testimony of what hope represents. Queen Wytisha, don't forget to tap into your first superpower, which is your mind. Until the next broadcast.